I just got back from a thrift store. On Mondays, I go out and I see what they're taking off the shelves, because what they're taking off the shelves is what they're putting back on the shelves. So it's kind of an early restock alert. And I'm checking out the watches, talking to the cashier, and we get to talking about just what's going on. And he says to me that there is a $2,800 set of golf clubs, because I bought some golf clubs. A $2,800 set of golf clubs that were being sold, that had been donated. And first of all, I do not think that the new retail value was that much, because they were steelhead drivers and a steelhead set. So if I recall correctly, the Callaway steelheads back in 2005 or 6 or 7, it would have been about maybe $5,000 for a full set. So maybe that's including the bag, and maybe the guy exaggerated. But I digress. I said, how do you sell that here? Because I don't care about contradicting him or arguing. I want to know, when they get an expensive item, what do they do with it? Because I'm trying to buy expensive items, since I want to know where they are. Because they certainly don't have those things behind the collectible glass display. They don't put them in the store. They're going to get stolen. And he says, well, we sell them online. And he hands me this piece of paper that says, there's also a poster of it on the wall, and it's shopsastores.org. And I go there, and that is the Southeastern Michigan, Detroit portal for all their online auctions. Here's the thing, though. They just redirect to eBay. And that's kind of my segue into what I want to talk about today, and that's direct-to-consumer thrift store e-commerce models. If you know what I'm talking about, direct-to-consumer means you're basically taking out the middleman. In the case of thrift stores, the actual thrift store, physical store, is the middleman. Thrift stores are also going to do B2B business. I've bought pallets of books from them. That's like the B2B. I'm the business, they're the business. They do physical retail, but over the past few years, and quite honestly, it's been more than a few years, thrift stores have been selling more and more things online. Like shopgoodwill.com is the main big competitor, I guess, the main big player website. And they've been around, you can double check me on this, it's amazing, since 1999 doing e-commerce transactions, and they do millions of dollars a month in revenue. It's crazy. What's interesting about shopsa.com, the Salvation Army's portal, is all of their auctions are just, it's eBay auctions. When you click on it, it goes to eBay. Now, that's not to say that there aren't, I think shopsalvationarmy.com is an actual auction portal similar to Shop Goodwill. I'll link all these below in the description tonight after the video posts, and I look them all up. And they're all places you can buy things, but there's this third kind of, maybe it isn't even right to call it a third kind of business, but a third model. There's retail, physical retail, there's B2B, and then there's this direct-to-consumer model that's basically either Salvation Armies or Goodwill sell on eBay, for example, or they sell on their own site. And there's more. I've seen, like, there's this one, I'm not going to link to this one because it's not going to be good for anyone, but there's like a church in British Columbia that will auction off things on like a WordPress blog. And to put your bid, you type your full name and the amount you're offering. So there's the whole spectrum of direct-to-consumer thrift store auctions. So what's the problem, though? What's wrong with this? It's their property. I don't want to make it sound like they don't have a right to do this, what this bad thing I think that they're doing is. But they're doing it. And if I had to say when I started noticing it, I'd say 2017. And that's like the hip millennial Gen Z targeted direct-to-consumer. It's been only Goodwill so far. I've seen Goodwill Blue Box, and I've seen Worn Not Wasted, I think are the two websites. And they might be the same thing, because they're both out of Florida, and I would bet that this is just like a corporate directive from Goodwill HR, which is, I think, in Orange County. That's where Shop Goodwill is based, in Orange County. I think it's a directive to try and get younger customers buying online. But what they're doing wrong is they're not using it as a liquidation platform, at least not in the conventional sense, the way Shop Goodwill is, the way these eBay auctions are, where it's 99 cents and it's an auction. It isn't even a B2B platform where they're selling pallets by the pound, with the intention of the end user or the business client, business customer, making money by reselling them. It isn't that. It's this weird, like, I don't know how, the only way I can explain it is like back in the 2000s, late 2000s, mid 2000s, there was consumer grade video cameras, professional grade video cameras, and prosumer grade video cameras. And I worked for a baseball team doing all their highlights, so that's how I know this. The prosumer is like, doesn't have all the bells and whistles that a professional grade camera is going to have, but way more opportunities and options than the consumer grade. Would you ever see one on a movie set? No, not in a million years. Although I do think Always Sunny in Philadelphia filmed their pilot on that, but that's more useless trivia. And that's kind of like the same space that Goodwill, Blue Box, or Worn Not Wasted is like, I went on the website to see, I get their emails, and the marketing is well done. There's better graphic design. And I think that they think that that's going to help them get more sales, and maybe it is. But like what they were selling is a box of junk watches for $60 about, with all the fees and shipping taken into account. And it's 8 pounds of junk watches. Okay, but they're not going to be, when I buy 10 pounds or 8 pounds of watches from a thrift store locally here, yeah, I'm getting some junk, but it's not all junk. There's some Timex, there's some Fossil watches, but with these prosumer, middle of the line, direct to consumer, whatever you want to call them, models, they're kind of commodifying donations in a way that they're trying to twist it to get the most money out of their donations, which is they're totally entitled to do this. And so they're saying, okay, we're betting that by having different marketing, having a different approach, and commodifying our donations into these mystery boxes, we can tweak little things to make it more profitable than the classic liquidation outlet or model that you see on eBay and their own websites. Why is this bad? Because who's the customer? I'm honestly asking, who are they selling to? They're not selling to individuals, because individuals want to know what they're buying. And they're not selling to people like myself who resell to pay the bills, to pay our mortgage, to pay for our life, to save money, because the margins are so thin. It's similar to like what bulk.com did, but whereas they could somewhat guarantee a faster sell-through on newer products, these thrift stores can't do that. And because there are putting people in place who essentially are costing more money, be it graphic designers, be it the people who are making these boxes, as opposed to just like an assembly line of liquidation, they're making the costs are higher. Therefore, they have to take out the good stuff and make premium boxes. And the premium boxes, again, are being sold at a percentage that doesn't really give a reseller like myself any money that they can make. I mean, why would I invest $80 or $2,000, whatever it is, in a liquidation product, or I mean, rather this prosumer product, when I could do the same thing for liquidation stuff and make way more money? It just doesn't really make sense. And I think that this is like FOMO, corporate FOMO, where they're like, oh, we're missing out on profits because there's so many people on social media like myself who post these big wins, and I found this watch, I found this book, yada, 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 and they want a piece of that. But what they neglect to understand is how much work and effort goes into being able to do that. The reason I can go into a thrift store and pick out the 25 books that are going to make me $400 out of the 10,000 books they have there is not because I'm lucky. It's because I've been doing this for a long, long time. And you can't really gloss over that with good marketing and cool names and email campaigns. I mean, maybe they can. Maybe it's going to work initially, as there are people who, the time is gone for that. I think the time for that was like 2021, where people were trying to become resellers and saw it as a chance to make money. Maybe they could have capitalized on that new wave of ignorant resellers, but I just don't see that being an existing business model that makes them money, because the people who buy it aren't making money. They kind of, at the end of the day, thrift stores who are doing these larger bulk sales because they're getting an overwhelming amount of donations and they're understaffed. I mean, let's not forget that aspect of it all. They need people to buy this stuff because they're understaffed and they get a huge amount of donations. Unless we're making enough money to justify our time, we're not going to buy the stuff. And I'm curious your thoughts on the matter. Have you seen these different kinds of commodified thrift store sales? Do you only go into physical locations, or do you shop online on their eBay auctions and buy that way? Very curious to hear your thoughts. There's a whole lot more to the conversation. Let's carry it on below in the comments. I'll see you guys later.